started. I just want the transcript to begin. Okay, that's on. Okay, cool. Let's let's start. So today we're doing our last study unit. It is study unit 11. I'm also going to show you some of the Excel. We can do it in Excel as well. Um, just that you have that option. I will share the Excel to all the new guys as well. I'll post that onto our WhatsApp group again, so that you can have that as well. And just for everyone nearly new to the group that hasn't seen the Excel spreadsheet, it basically assists you from study unit 3 onwards with um, ways of calculating some of the intervals, the other things with some notes in between as well. So I'll definitely share that this afternoon with you guys as well. Okay, so because most of the work we're doing in study unit 11 will be that we need to calculate something. Sorry if the background is noisy, there's things printing at the moment. Um, so in regression is, and again, I don't know if the assignment is out already. It should be, but also if in the exam you probably get 2 questions on regression. What we like to do is ask one of them on definition, yes or king. Do you have a question? I can't hear anything at the moment, so you can also type the question in the chat and I can pick it up there. Can everybody hear me? Just as a thumbs up.
Yeah, I can hear you, John. I said.
Okay, so you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, over King, so
Oh, can you hear me?
no, I couldn't. I can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I was asking regarding the previous assessment. Some of the questions, the answers, they are correct, but then they were marked wrong. So I don't know how they're gonna fix that.
No, so they will definitely fix that in the background. So the lecturer is aware of it. They so you it's not going to be as in the next week, but they are fixing that in the background. So you will see updated results later on. Um, so no, they are aware of it and they are attending to it, because there was mistakes with a few questions that you couldn't get answers, and there was things that was so no the previous assignment they definitely looking at it and to see how they can fix it. And what they will probably do is, in the end, drop those 2 or 3 questions that was wrong, and let it count out of 10 or let it count out of 9. So that's probably what they will do and give you a remark on it. But but that is in progress. So I'll follow up with a lecturer on that, but don't expect it to be soon, because it's not the lecturer that can change it. It needs to go through the assignments department. So everything takes a bit slower. But they are working on it.
Okay, we'll wait for you then.
Cool. But I'll let you know what the lecturer also says, how long it will take and things like that. Okay. So on study unit 11, I've included a lot of definitions and things like that. So because they love to ask a definition question in the exam, and when we start our exam prep next week, I'll show you all the different types of questions that they ask in the different study units, and what they prefer and not prefer and do. So what we will definitely see also from next week is the different types of questions. But so that's why I give you the definitions, because what they like to ask is, okay, this you don't need to. So let's quickly go through this. So things that they do like to ask about, in the regression space is, so they're not going to ask, we explore methods of defined possibility between, but they're going to ask you, when dealing with two variables, we can visually explore whether there's an association. So it's just those words that you need to to look for in the assignment, but also in the exam, that what they like to use. So the association between two variables they like to ask in a definition. They also like to ask, so not that we're going to say to calculate, but they also like to ask the strength of the correlation. Then this is important. Okay, so this is critical. So let me just, so this one, so that they will ask you which one is dependent. So dependent is for Y, independent is for X. So this one is really critical, because they can throw that into any of your questions. What they can also do is, and I'll get to that later on, is normally you get tables that says X and Y. What they can do is they can swap it around to say Y and X. So just that that what you're working with is always the same thing. Okay, and then on the next one, the two things that they like to ask in a definition question is, they will ask you if the value of a correlation lies between certain things or can be something else, and then about the strength of that relationship. The formulas, here you have it. So I've looked, and I think I've covered most of them in this paper. So there's another one, or in this PowerPoint, just that you have everything together. But that is what I nearly want to show you. So in the Excel, there is formulas already that we have done so that you can calculate certain things. Okay, so, and if I need to see, we've done this one a few times. If I need to add one to cover this, we can do that as well. What happens a lot is that what we normally do in the Excel is they give us the data, and then we can run what they will do with these numbers is they will give you that, or they will give you that. And I've got an example like that. And then you actually, Excel can help you to make your calculation easier. You can do it with, oh, sorry, I just see we are moving to stage 4. Okay, so hopefully the power doesn't go off while we are. Okay, only from 10 o'clock, so we'll be fine by 10 o'clock. Okay. So you will see in a question like this, they give you the data, so you can do those in Excel, but they also give you the detail. So in the exam, the chances that they give you both is very slim. Okay, so just be prepared, and that's why we'll do it both ways. That we use it in Excel, and we will do it manually as well. Okay, but the formulas are here for you. I'll put it in PDF later today, that you can also have it at hand after today's session. So that is when all study units done. I will create like a one. I need to send you my summary of this study unit as well. I'll do that. But what I will create you is like a 1 or 2 pager of all the formulas that's important for you. I have it somewhere in my files of last year that I've done it. So I will do that for you and send that on as well. And there is notes on it as well when to use it where. So don't worry about that. I will pass that on to you as well. Okay, so let's start with one of the first questions. So the manager wants to analyze the relationship between the advertising and sales, the manager of future stores. Okay, so if you have a calculator that can use data or can analyze using data points and give you Y and X, you would, in that instance, you would say, my first data point is that, it goes with that one, so that will be your first, second, third, and you will be able to calculate one of the regression lines. Or you can use that data, but then if you use that data, you first need to work out these things. Okay, so, and let's be honest, we don't want to do that. So let's go to Excel. You can see that was a previous year's question. Let's see, how can I copy this out? the things is already nicely in there, but let's create a new one. Why do we need to? So let's create a new one. Variable y, x and y. You guys can still see the screen, eh?
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, and let's just make it bigger. Okay. Let's do
9 o'clock. That was 8 o'clock. Somewhere.
if I type something wrong, just let me know. And that is nearly why I also like Excel, and you're allowed to use it. So again, it's very difficult because I'm fortunate enough to have this now on a second screen, so I can have my when I'm writing exams, if okay, no, if I was writing exams, I could have a paper on one screen, I could have my Excel on a second screen. You can have your paper on one device, you can have another device with you to assist you in calculations. Yes, there's a hand.
Right, thanks. And just quickly, the definition of regression line, what does that term mean?
Okay.
Hmm?
So
That's-
the regression line, all that is going to do, and is, I was now wondering if there's a plot somewhere. See, so that line is the regression line. So the
Yeah.
regression line, all that it does is it's a line that nearly takes all the points into account
Okay.
and is the best representation of those points.
Okay.
That's in the simple terms what it is. Um, so it nearly takes all the data into account, and it plots a line through that to make it the best line to represent the data that you are looking at.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. So you can see in the textbook there's other definitions as well, and that is sometimes very high English and things like that, but that is what it nearly comes down to. Okay, so in a regression line, and I don't think I can mark this now. Let's see if I can. No, I can't mark the text unless. But in a regression line, and let's just go back to the text.
My apology, I'm encountering a technical problem here.
Okay, now that's fine. Don't worry. What's always best is you can log off and log on again. That normally helps with if it's other things. Then don't worry. We are recording, and I'll give it. You can view a recording afterwards again. Okay, so
Okay, thanks.
in the regression line, we basically have y equal to e, e1, and x. So that's the things that we are going to look for. Okay, so we need to get a mean, and we need to get, and let's call that mean what it is, the slope, and we need to get the y cutoff. Let's check. Oh, there is. I did it back now. Just open for me. it. It's now not visitor old. Okay. So now working out the slope. Now important. So the known was first for Excel, the known X is second for Excel. So that is important. So if we have done it in a calculator, you would have said X first and then Y. So very important to note what Excel's want first or second. Okay, slope, and let's look at all the slopes is down to 2 decimals. So let's just round it off to 2 decimals. Okay, so the slope is 1.32. Okay, so let's look at the slopes. And remember, the slope is with the x, 1.32, 35.8, 89. So by just working out the slope, we have our answer as option 1. See what they've done here is they've just swapped it around. That if you don't know, so if you, and let me show you this. If you've done it the way that just check X and Y. Okay, then there wasn't at least a slope for you. So that's interesting. I thought that they might have done it the other way around, but they haven't. Sorry, so let's just quickly fix this. Okay, so that's the slope. So by the slope, we actually already know now that that is option 1. That is your answer. But let's look, what else do we need to, if we were given 2 of those, we would have needed to work out. See here, they give us a lot of other things. We would have needed to work out the intercept. Okay, so we would have needed to work out the intercept. So let's call it intercept. So on a, that's now unfortunate. So let me. Okay. So the intercept. So let's say, so that is what we're going to work out now. Is that intercept? Okay, so we've already worked out the slope. So we know what the slope is. Now we're working out the intercept. And I'm sure there's an intercept function. Again, y is first, x is second. We round it off to what they want. And where you can see the intercept is 35.8. And there we have our intercept. So option 1 is the correct one. Okay, so that's why I said it's, for me, these questions is much easier to do it in Excel. You can also use your your maths or your stats calculator for this one. But let's be honest, if imagine you now needed to work out B1 with this, and B0 with that, it is half of your exam is going to go into that. And that is not the purpose of that. So again, if somebody needs on HP the steps how to do it, you can ask in my WhatsApp. You can also ask about the other calculators, but on HP I can help you. But on the others, if you have Sharp or any of the others, I don't have a faintest clue how to do that. But the HP one, definitely I will be able to assist you in how to put in the data for that. Because again, I know not everyone has always the luxury of having Excel, but if you do have this as an option, please use Excel. Okay, so we have calculated that first one. Okay, so let's go now to the next one, and this is a typical definition question. So let's just make it a bit
Mr. Jim,
bigger. Yes.
that method is confusing, man. Don't you have another one whereby we can just use the formula that is provided in our study guides?
What is in the study guide?
The formulas that they are provided, because this method of Excel, I don't know how did you come to get this slope. I just saw the slope and then even the intercept, but then I didn't see how did you do it.
See, so that's the power of the of Excel is you actually don't need to calculate anything. You just need to make sure your data is correct. So I'll show you with this one how we using everything. So with this one, I'll show you with all this detail how to calculate it without Excel. So I will get to one of those that you will actually be forced in question 5 not to use Excel. We can test the answers in Excel because we have the data, but in question 5, what I've seen in some of your assignments and exam is that they leave out the data and give you just that. So don't worry. We'll get to in question 5. We get to do it the long way as well. So definitely. Okay, on the definition side, so here they say, consider a data set containing number of pages and price for 15 books on a professor's bookshelf. Okay, that doesn't really give you any real information that's important. Okay, but I give you that. The correlation coefficient was calculated as 0.47. Okay, so that is the first thing that is important. Okay, so they tell us R is equal to 0.474. Okay, which one of the following statements is incorrect? Number of pages and price are directly related. Well, we know that R runs between -1 and 1. So there is a relationship if it's 0,474 between the number of pages and the price of a book. Okay, so if you go to one of these slides, R is close to R indicates there's little relationship. The further it moves away from 0 to 1, it shows that there is a bigger relationship. So there is a relationship. So that is correct. A scatter diagram of the data will show an upward slope. Okay. How do we know that? So let's say that was the books. The number of pages and price are directly direct. So if this was pages, your number of books or it will go up. So you will have an upward slope. So as the book becomes thicker, the price becomes bigger. Okay, so as the book, or that should rather be price. So as the pages becomes more, your price becomes more. Because we know there is a relationship between the two. So as price becomes bigger, your pages becomes more. So let's do that again without all of those things. Okay, so the two things that we have is pages and price. Okay, so let's say you've got 50 pages, it costs you 50 Rand. Now what we're saying is as price goes up or as the pages gets more, your price will go up. So let's say you've got 100 pages, but now the price is 75 Rand. Let's say you've got 75 pages, price is somewhere there. So as the number of pages goes up, the price of the book goes up. Okay. The more pages a book has, the higher the price. Those two says exactly the same thing, which if you look at that, so those three things, those three answers is saying exactly the same thing, just in three different ways. That is normal speak, like in not stat speak. The more pages, the higher the price. Those two are stats definitions or stat speak. So a scatter diagram that shows you the upward slope and the prices are related. But this one actually is a nice summary of what those two are saying. Coefficient of determination will lie between -1 and 1. Okay, so now this is where the catch comes in. Correlation coefficient is between -1 and 1. Coefficient of determination, that is R square. Okay, so R square then means it's between 0 and 1. And how you can look at that is if my correlation coefficient was minus 0.4, to move that, so say that was R, to move that to R square, I need to say minus 0.4 to the power of 2. And because of that power of 2, basically a minus times a minus will become a positive. That's why even if you have a negative correlation coefficient, your coefficient of determination will always be positive. Okay, coefficient of determination always positive. So that is the incorrect one. Yes. And then another one that speaks very similar language. If there is absolute no relationship between pages and price, R will be equal to 0. Okay, and that we've seen out of the definition as well. So you can think of it as, let's look at R on this scale. So R at 0, there is absolutely no relationship. As R moves towards -1, there is a relationship, but it is a negative relationship. As R moves to +1, there is a relationship and it's a positive relationship. So if, and don't worry about the time, if that was negative 0.47, we would have seen a negative or a slope that goes down that says that there is, as price nearly increases, pages, or as price goes up, pages will go down, or the other way around. As your pages increases, price will go down. So if it was negative, it would have had a different slope, and then all of this would have been a different kind of assumptions that you make. But this is a very good example of a definition question, because we're not just asking you R is this, R square is this. They actually using it in a format that you still need to understand how it works. Okay, so another one of definition. If all points in a scatter diagram lie on the regression line, then the correlation of R is. Okay, so let's do that. And I now just need to make sure that so just assume that is a straight line and that all, okay, so if all your points is on the regression line, what will R be? And now this I'm asking for you guys.
+1 as a guess.
Okay. So you're halfway right? No, because I specifically have drawn the slope positive. but they didn't say if it is, so you can have that line as
okay.
well.
Okay. Number 3, 1 or -1.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
And that is, so I specifically wanted to do that now because one is always thinking about that line. Oh, undo, where's undo? One is, or I am always, when I think always the one that goes up. That is nearly standard for me to think. But remember, because it's between 1, -1 and 1, there's a -1 as well. And that's then why I specifically now wanted to get somebody just to answer the positive. Because if I did that, you probably would have said -1. So that for me is just, and again, this is how they catch you out in the exam as well, because automatically that is right. That is also right. But because we didn't say only bigger than 0 or smaller, the most correct one is where it is either +1 or -1. Okay. So, and let's be honest, when you see that from previous exams, there is always enough information for you to work out something. So if you think there's not enough information, then they're basically trying to catch you out with something. There will always be enough information for you to answer what is asked. Okay, so now let's get to this one. I just want to see where is my calculator. Else I'm gonna do it on 2 ways. I'm gonna do it in this one, but I'm also gonna show you. So then it's nearly we can do it as a test. Okay, so question 5, and I'm Overking, I'm glad you asked that. If what I've seen in the last 2 years with the exams is that when they give you this information about the sum of x and y and all of those things, it's very seldom that they give you the data as well. So here they have given us the data. So I'm just going to put it in for now so that I know that we work with, when we get the answers to the others, that okay, so I've got the slope, so I've got the intercept of 3.54. So no, that is the, and how quickly did I make that mistake now? Okay, so your slope is 3.54 and your intercept is -3.2. So let's just okay. Let's see if we do that. If it really makes a difference. Should not. Let's just see. No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so that is just for my own sanity when we look at the things. Okay, so you have enough information now to complete this. So let's see. I've given all the formulas. So let's see, what do we have here? We need B0 and we need B1. Okay, we've got different formulas for B1 so that we can see whatever they've given us, that we can use it. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to work out what is B1. Okay, remember B1 is slope. So what I want to do is we first need to work out B1 in any case to work out B0. So we first work out slope, then we go through all these options. And then if we don't have one that is correct, we do the next one. Okay, again, just to save time, but let's do this so that n, if they should give you n if they don't give you the data. So n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I don't give the data, they should tell you what n is. Okay, then the sum of x and y. We've got the sum of x and y. Minus the sum of x. Times the sum of y. When you divide it by n, the sum of x squared should be here, sum of x squared. And then the sum of x, 39 to the power of 2. Okay, so let me just see where my calculator, I think my son has taken it again. Okay, so then option is cell phone. Okay, 5 times 1082. So that times that gives me 5. Oh, wait. 5410. Please just do the calcs with me. 39 times 122 gives me 4758. 5 times 341 gives me 1705. And 39 times 39 gives me 1521. Okay, so 5410 minus 4758 gives me 652. And below 1705 minus 1521 gives me 184. If I say 652 divided by 184, I get the slope of 3,54. Okay, so B1 is equal to a 3,54. We have tested it there as well. So that is your slope. Okay, so slope of minus 3,21, no, incorrect. Intercept is, sorry, your slope is 3,54, wrong. Okay, so now we go, the regression line is that minus that plus, okay. That at least we know is correct. So this might be your answer. When the coefficient of correlation is 99 or 0.99, the coefficient of determination is 0.9950. That there's no place on this formulas that you, or with the info that they've given you, that is separate. So 0.99 times or to the power of 2, so that should have given you 0.9801 should have been the coefficient of determination. Okay, there's none of these will give it to you. You need to say 0.99 times 0.99. That answer will be that and not that one, so we know it is incorrect. Then they say when x is equal to 10, they estimate it. Okay, so we don't know that yet because we don't know the whole formula yet. Okay, but that's fine. So now we have B1. So let's work out B0. B0 is equal to the average of that. We don't have average, but we have a formula for the average. It's the sum of y, 122, divided by n, which is 5, minus B1, we've got now that as 3.54, times the average of y. Again, we don't have it specifically here, but we've got the sum, which is 39. We've got the 5. Okay, so we can work that out. Lynn, I'll be with you now. So we can 122 divided by 5 gives you 24.4 minus, okay, so 39 divided by 5 is 7.8. 7.8 times 3.54 gives you 27.612. So if you say 24.4 minus 27.612, you get the answer of minus 3,21. Just want to check 3,21, 3,24. So that's a bit off. Might be, I just wanted to check. Okay, so my data wasn't wrong. It's a bit off, but there you have then your B0, so we know then that option 3 is the correct one because you've worked out your slope, you worked out your intercept, so you just put that into your formula and you have it. Okay, so over King, that is nearly using the formulas, and it is, and
Mr.
yes,
Mr. I don't know where did you get that formula to calculate B0? Because I thought you are using that one on the top, y equals to the sum of y divided by n. Not that one, the other one.
Okay, so this is B1, and this is another formula for B1. So I need those two to calculate those because I don't have it in my data set.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay, so that's why I've in this one I've given you need basically those formulas to work out the B1 and the B0. It might be that they give you, and normally if they don't give you the data, you will get those two numbers as well. If they don't give you the data, they normally give you those two numbers as well. But this is, I just included nearly all possible equations for you in this one so that you can use any of them, because you will see that, where was it? They in your, no, sorry, where I'm now, they give you this formula to work out R square. So they have given you a lot of information also in that. So if you look at those two, they've given you a lot of those information in here, which again, they've given you too much information, so that it might be that you looked at it and said, okay, but now I need to use that to work out my coefficient of correlation or something like that as well. So sometimes they again give you too much information that you also don't, but because honestly, for me, when I look at all your previous questions from study unit 1 up until this one, study unit 11 is in a sense the most difficult, because you're working with so many formulas that are different, but sometimes gets to the same answer, but it's just how it's structured or how they've written it in words or how it's so that's why for study unit 11, I personally dislike using formulas because it confuses one. But what I would do, I'll do that for you. Don't worry. So what I will do for you is I'll write you the process just on a page. I'll just give you the process from, if I give you this data, how to work out the first one, how to work out the second one, and then how to have your formula. So I'll do that for the group and put it on WhatsApp. Nearly that process from B1, B0 to get to your regression line.
Okay.
Cool. Lynn, you had a question.
Yes, thanks, John. I think you mentioned it now. So B1 is the slope, B0 is the intercept.
Yes.
And then the intercept is basically when the straight line touches the y-axis.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah. See, so if they've, so let's see if they've asked us to draw that, and let's I'll do it in this small space. You would see the intercept is negative. So if they've asked us to draw this, we would have said, okay, there's the intercept of minus 3,21. We know the slope is positive. So the line would have looked something like that. Just if I haven't came across where they've asked you, I'll scout exam papers and see if there's anything. I haven't come across where they've asked you or given you the line and then ask you questions around the line. So if there's anything like that in your last assignment, let me know. So I haven't seen that. What I have seen in the last 2 years is, because it's so easy when you have the data to use Excel and that they have become nearly to say, let's just give you the information without the data. So that's why you'll see in oh, I haven't. So I'll check if I can build something without the. I'll see if I can do something for you guys when they don't give you. Let me just say that when they don't give you the data, that with this, because let's now be honest, if you don't get the data, you only get this. To go through this process, it takes time. So that's why if I was in the exam, I would have done that B1 where I get that as the slope, and I would have stopped there. I would not have even bothered to look at the others, to be honest. Because if that is right, the chances that they're going to make that one wrong is very, very slim. So I would have even looked at what they've given me here. So I know we're over time, but let me tell you what I would have done. Just as, so here they tell me in this one, the intercept is 3.54. They tell me in this one, the slope is 3,21. Okay, so that is nearly what they're telling me how the equation looks like by looking at these two. Okay, we're looking for the one that is correct. And look at this one is just the opposite. So if you just look at these two. So if we say the intercept is correct, if we say that, then that one is wrong. Okay, so then that might have been your right answer. If we say the slope is correct, then that one is wrong. Okay, but now we have two that is correct. So what I would have done is I would looked at this and I would have said, okay, so let's assume this is correct. Then both of them are incorrect. And I have my correct option. If that was saying incorrect, then it's a very difficult one to work out because then you nearly need to work through everything. But because they're asking me which one is correct, I'm looking at these three, and then that tells me that one of those three is correct and the other two is wrong. So again, this is probably going to be one of your last questions of your exam. If you have 1 or 2 minutes left, look for the shortcuts nearly how to work this out. The coefficient of correlation, easy one to work out, because you just multiply. So I would have started there because that would have told me immediately if it is correct or incorrect. But then I would look at this to say, well, if that is correct, that one is incorrect, but then that one looks very similar. So I would rather say that is correct, and those ones are incorrect. Because you can only have one that is correct. But that is, again, pressured for time, trying to eliminate some of your options, and things like that. Okay, so that was our study unit 11. We will next week we'll start prepping for exam, even though no exam dates. I don't know if the exam date has been released, or well, my lecture or the lecturers